Welcome to Rugby AM here on Free Sports. You have to bear with us tonight. I'm a little bit hoarse, but we've got an absolute legend of a guest. Jamie Jones Buchanan on my left-hand side.
Talk about
right.
Me.
No, not you tonight, mate. Oh. You're a legend, but not as big as this man. Oh. Dual code rugby legend, Jason Robinson. What an honour. Jason, great to see you.
Pleasure.
Welcome to Rugby AM, first time.
Right. It is first time, yeah.
You've seen the show. It's all. This is where the magic happens.
I know. I've got to sit on the couch. It's it's not a bad place you got here, is it?
You've been trying for a while, though, haven't you, Simo? Because you've got to see barbers, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
You've tested him for years.
Yeah. I once copped him in the Sensation Barbers in Chapeltown. Said, mate, do this show. It's just down the road in Chapeltown, and he wasn't interested back in the day. But I can imagine why. I did look like a bit of a rogue back then, running around. I think it was 2000 and must be 14, 15.
Yeah. Back
in the day.
Yeah, you've come on a bit now, though. I thought just get your stuff together, and I'll be on. So here I am.
Here it is. And, go on.
Jason, what's it like now walking around Chapeltown? I know you grew up down that area, but what's it like for you to just walk around the usual haunts that you used to grow up in?
Now, you know something. Sometimes it's good to do it.
Yeah. Just
to remind you of where it all started, because you know I've had such a good time in league, in union, you know. But when you do go around those areas, you just think, you know, this is where it all started. You know.
I always think about that in Bramley. I'm still in Bramley where I grew up. I've never been able to afford to get out, to be honest with you, but yeah, I still love it, mate. It's what I talk about every week. And I'm going to ask you as well. We spend a lot of time in that area of Leeds now, trying to recruit young talent, and we find that a lot of kids win athletic competitions, with sprinting, 400 metres, 100 metres, or whatever it might be. Some great athletes that want to try and recruit into rugby league, but because there's no real rugby league in that sort of area of Leeds, really struggle to recruit them. How did you get into the game, having grown up round there?
Well, it was probably more so when I left the area.
Right.
I ended up getting into to rugby league. But you're right, you know, the gene pool there is massive. You know, you've got lots of young people, you know, that have got a great gene. You know, Caribbean gene, Jamaican gene is brilliant. You look at some of the best athletes in the world, you know, Usain Bolt, you know, there's a lot there, and it's just a shame because, you know, it's an area that's just missed out on, because you look how far's Headingley from Chapeltown Heralds. You know, it's a stone's throw. Yet all these kids are growing up, and you know, we're not tapping into what could be a great pool of talent.
You've inspired so many kids, obviously, in both codes, and but you started your career down at Hunslet Parkside, and you've still got an affinity with that club. I've seen you back there a number of occasions. What do you love about that club? Because it's a club that in the last few years in the amateur game has risen to be the #1 amateur club in the country.
Well, it's just massive. You know, even going back there, the landscape around the club has changed, but one thing that stayed the same is the club itself. Dennis, you know, who runs the club, he was brilliant. You know, come down, you know, you'd pay your subs, you know, and you just have something to do. You know, whether it be boxing, rugby, just playing pool, or just, you know, they just got you with a lot of sport. And you see it now, and I think there's 2,500 members there.
Yeah.
And I just think, you know, had it not been for that club and all the guys that have put in so much effort over the years, I'm not sure that I would have gone on to do what I did. Do you know what I mean?
We've got a photo of you back in the Leeds and District days. With Simon Horton, another local player, both of you, funnily enough, ended up at Wigan and both playing for Great Britain together. Firstly, what do you remember about that team back in the day, and obviously two young kids coming from Leeds, and how did you end up at Wigan instead of Leeds?
Yeah, I mean, Leeds and District, I remember that was always an honour to play for them, and big Si, I always remember his curtain hairdo, but
with long,
big
centre parting.
Yeah, he should have been auditioning for Baywatch, I think, big Si. But no, it just so happened that the Wigan scout lived in Leeds, and we both were approached by him. Obviously, I wanted. Well, I think we both wanted to play for Leeds, but it didn't work out. And the Wigan scout took us over there, and yeah, the rest was history really. But yeah,
So we slipped through the net there, Jones.
but I used to be the ball boy at Leeds.
Yeah.
I was always, you know, I remember throwing the ball on to Roy Powell, and you know, it was massive just being a ball boy, let alone you know, potentially have an opportunity to one day play for them. So
That could be Leeds' biggest ever error, letting Jason Robinson slip through the net. And it's really funny, when I was a kid, I was no superstar by any means, but back in our day we didn't have the scholarships and the programmes and the pathways that we've got now, so scouts used to ring you up. You're about a 13, 14-year-old playing for Yorkshire against Lancashire or district sides. And the first one to ring me up was a Wigan one. And the first thing he said was, I signed Jason Robinson, and he's on all this money now, and he's only a young kid, blah, blah, blah. But I hung on and hung on and hung, and Leeds took forever, and it was the last club actually, but I hung on, but I loved it. But I want to ask you, Jason, when you was younger, right, you just talked about inspiring loads of kids and a lot of the work you do now to try and get them coming through their own pathways, but who inspired you? Who did you look at and think, wow, I want to emulate a little bit of them?
a couple of people. So one of them would have been Gary Schofield.
Right.
Because when I played for Hunslet Parkside, his mum used to be the tea lady.
Yeah.
And, you know, she was so proud of him. There's no other person's name you heard other than Gary. And to be fair, you know, it was a class player. And then I suppose for a young black lad growing up, Ellery,
Yep.
you know, just outstanding, you know, no matter, you know, when he played, who he played, you know, he was always the standout player. And I think it's important for, you know, for a young black player to see that, you know. But yeah, he was great. It certainly inspired me to want to go on and do something special. But you know, I mean, you hope and you dream. I mean, when I left school at 15. You know, I went to work in a metal treatment company, and then all of a sudden, you know, and it wasn't long after, you know, probably a year after, you know, all of a sudden I get this opportunity to play for Wigan, and then, dear me, the rest is history. But you know, signed at 16, full time at 17. I remember going over from Leeds, and yeah, everything was competition. You know, being around Phil Clark, Dennis Betts, you know, you weren't going to get by just doing what you needed to do. You know, sprint training were Martin Afire. Dear me.
Who won? Who won them ones? Could you get him over 10, 20, or was it who used to win them races?
I'd love to sit here now and say, yeah, I got him, but I didn't. It was just,
Right.
you know, I mean, it was just an out-and-out gazelle. You know, when you watched,
gliding.
Yeah.
but when you watched him run, you know, he was like a proper sprinter. You know,
Okay,
just effortless. When I used to run, I was like an old Ford Cortina with 4 gears. I was like, it was everything that every metre that I went,
Yeah.
I really earned it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just what a privilege, because it just brings you on. You know, when you're training with those guys, you know, it's all about who can lift the most.
Yeah.
You know, who's got the most stamina, who can train the hardest, who can run the fastest, and you know, it just brings it out in you. And if you get above yourself, then you know, you sit in the wrong place. You know, Dean Bell will just get you gear and chuck it straight into the shower. You know, you won't do it twice.
Yeah.
You had to earn your spot in the changing rooms.
You mentioned when you're racing Martin Afire that you had to work for every yard. You've got so much competition. Do you reckon that work ethic was the virtue or the one of the big determining factors behind your success as a professional sportsman? Because earlier when we were talking, you also said now that you're working, you're just as passionate and driven about working as you are about playing.
Yeah, I think it shapes you. You know, we're all affected by the environments we're in, the people that we're with. You know, when I joined Wigan, they were just, I was just learning the trade.
Yeah.
You know, some of those had been in it years and years and years, been there, done it, and showed me how to try and maintain it. You know, so I was just learning all the time. You know, so that helped massively. And then all of a sudden I've finished sport. You know, all I've got, you know, previously is, you know, a year's work at Ultrasonic Cleaning Services, cleaning metal. You know, but what I've learned over the years is a lot of stuff that I can take into business. So I'm just loving the challenges of that, and just trying to just do it in my own way. I know I'm smart in lots of ways. You know, I need to upskill myself. If you haven't got the skills to do it, I need to try and upskill myself, and that's what I'm doing all the time. Just trying to get better. You know, trying to learn, and you know, and enjoy it along the way as well.
So many years at Wigan, winning so many trophies, and it's still at such a young age. Do you reckon that's one of the happiest times in your career, obviously, before you went over to Union?
Listen, my time at Wigan just set a foundation for me to go on and do some amazing things. You know, I look back and I just feel so lucky that the timing of it, you know, certainly worked in my favour. You know, again, I look back and I just think Dean Bell, how he just looked after me back in the day. Veiga Tuigamala just looking after certain parts of me, not just on the field but off the field. And you know, again, when you're around people like that and you learn from people like that, it just sets you up for life. And I'll always look back and I'll just, you know, whatever it is, whether it's a Challenge Cup game, whether it's, you know, World Club Challenge, you know, whatever it is, I'll look back with some fond memories because, you know, most people never get to do what I did, you know, so many times over. So, you know, I've got some fantastic memories that, you know, will stay with me for life.
Let's go over now to the DW Stadium and catch up with the new generation of the Wigan players and see how their golf is on the Seafast Play Pro Challenge. See who's got the longest drive. Check this out.
Roman Navarrete, the French baguette, prop.
Craig Mullen, fullback, Alexa. Craig Mullen, no. A big pro.
Tony Club, fat lad. Oh! Is that where it needs to be, like that?
That's Mr. Gilmore.
Stand back, boys.
Chris Hankin, centre, Jank.
One of these. Oh! Somebody's playing a bit. Nice shot. No power. Go on, Young'un, you've got a pair of hands on your ass.
Calfield, prop, Young'un.
Lost it wedge, isn't it?
Go in here,
Don Manfredi, winger. Let's have you then.
Whoa! Oh!
Second.
Liam Farrell, second row.
Oh, lovely.
One burner.
Comes across.
Third.
Oh!
What a roll.
Love his red. Good. Forward through. Oh, bloody hell. Go on.
Liam Marshall, winger.
46-year-old winger.
Bad back. Oh, sorry.
Go on, get him.
Shank.
Yogi Bear, second row.
What position?
Four.
Wow, that's not enough.
If you get to I'd be alright.
Enjoy it.
No, but he's just slipped the ball.
One more.
Joe Burgess, 18 on the cap. I'm not swinging that again.
Joe Bullock, prop forward.
Oh! It's gone backwards, pal. Let's first try it.
You're so left from that.
Out of bounds.
Yeah, Zach had it, his name's Zach. Oh! I told you, didn't I? Did you let go of club? Yeah, slips out my hand.
I didn't see you move.
Yeah, definitely good.
Why is club on far than ball?
One more and then I'm done. That's five.
Did do a few more, huh?
It gets wind as well.
Come on, fast.
Fantastic effort from Tony Clubb there. One hit wonder, mate. Walked up and smashed it, absolutely smoked it. Liam Farrell had about literally 30 goals and he was that close, like 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, just behind him. Couldn't get there.
Mate, he's got a big hit in him, hasn't he, Tony Clubb? He smoked me a couple of years ago.
He run over you.
He run over me, cleaning footprints off me and all sorts. But he's a great player, and it's interesting to see who steps up and does well at golf.
Jason, how's your golf? Are you a keen golfer?
Oh,
I'm
rubbish.
You're Jonesy.
I am rubbish. Yeah, I'd be better throwing my ball, to be fair.
We mentioned last week and this week a big announcement on the show, and this is something that has consumed my life for the last month. And you've come on board. You're going to be working with Jamaica Rugby League for the World Cup, and you've got such a pedigree in World Cups. You played in 3 World Cup finals. You know what it's all about. And the Jamaica opportunity, after such good work from Romeo Monteith and Jermaine Coleman, Glenn Morris and everybody who's got the guys qualified for the 2021 World Cup in this country. And now you've come on board with myself to be operations directors for the country.
Yeah, it's massively excited about it. I mean, you know, for Jamaica to be in the World Cup is huge. It's huge for Jamaica. It's huge for the players, you know, that managed to get them there, and the management side. But I think it's great for Rugby League as well. But I also feel that there's still a lot of work to do to get them to where they need to be. I mean, I can remember getting a call from one of the players and saying, look, you know, is there any chance you can help us out? And I thought, you know, my heritage is Jamaica. Yes, I played for England, but I was born Chapeltown, Heralds, and you know, I'm half Jamaican. And you know, a lot of people don't realise, but I still love my rugby league. And it's just a great opportunity to put back into the game, and you know, help them in some of the ways I think I can help them to. You know, to get better, to get stronger as a team. I'm not going in coaching, don't worry about that. But I just feel, you know, there's so much work that can be done. I think Jamaica is going to be, you know, one of the biggest stories of the 2021 World Cup.
I think it's a real life, cool running story, like the film. It's exactly the same, and I think that it could be. We were there in Auckland for Tonga versus England.
Yep.
It'll be exactly the same if it's sold right, because there's that many Jamaicans to come along to 3, hopefully maybe 4 World Cup games in 2021, and we just want to see people bringing the colour, the culture, the carnival, the music, the food, the vibrance, and that's what Jamaican people bring. As much as I'd love Jamaica to be in the final, it's very unlikely. We dare to dream, but it's very likely that England have got a great chance. They've got an amazing chance of winning after being so close in 2017, and the programme's building towards it. But you've been in a winning World Cup team, and I know it's changed your life, but what would winning the World Cup in England do for the game of rugby league in this country? So you've been through it yourself.
Yeah, I've been through it. I mean, to start with, before you win it, it just takes a commitment that you've never made to the game before. So the preparation leading up to the World Cup should be completely different to anything you've done before. You have to be, well, because you have to be almost so narrow-minded, so selfish.
Yeah.
You know, you can't prepare for this like a Challenge Cup. You can't prepare for it like any other game, because it's not any other game. You've got to win a sequence of games to get through your pool. England, they're going to be the host nation, so it's going to be tough for them, but a great opportunity, because then when you do get it right, you know, and then you do play the likes of Australia, New Zealand, the big boys, and you get it right, well, my life's never been the same since 2003, because nobody lets it be the same. You know, whilst I'd, you know, been brought with Wigan, and Wigan were ahead of the time, the professionalism of that for nearly 10 years. When I went to Rugby Union and I was under Sir Clive Woodward, the attention to detail was just unbelievable. How we worked, I've never worked as hard for anything in my life than that run up to the 2003 World Cup. And it started back, you know, that summer. There was probably a good 5 months of just getting beasted and just getting your body, your mind into a place that had never been before. Then you've got to take that into a competition with a mindset to go with it, because it's all well and good. Nowadays, most people are fit, fast, strong, all that kind of stuff. But the difference between good and great, for me, is up there.
Playing in a World Cup final must be epic. And as Jason Robinson, I'm talking about him in the third person here, but have you ever had any of those doubts or anxieties just before you go out and play in something so special as that? And if you did, how did you overcome them?
For me, it's I knew what I was good at. I knew what I could do. I had a lot of belief in my ability. And, you know, I just, you know, I have the nerves, which I think is only natural. It's good to have nerves. So, you know something, so World Cup final. Within 4 or 5 minutes, they put over a crossfield kick.
Yeah.
Lote Tuqiri jumps higher than me, catches the ball, scores a try. That next 30 seconds for me was the key. Why? Because most people I know, that situation would have destroyed that.
Yeah.
And they would have been thinking, don't kick another ball. And then once you start thinking that, all the negativity comes in and, oh, so I don't want to be in this position because I don't want to catch this. Whereas for me, it was a case of, no, get involved, get your hands on the ball, get into it. If you make a mistake, if something happens, boom, get into the next thing. You know, how can I do something positive? Within 30 minutes, I scored England's try, England's only try. Do I have doubts? Yeah, sometimes. I'm not superhuman, but I tend to focus on what I'm good at. You know, rugby is a tough game. It's, you know, there's all these big guys, you know, 6'5", 19, 20 stone. I'm 5 foot. I've realised, I thought it was 5'8". I'm not. I'm 5.77. I'm gutted. You know, so you're in this world all the time, this macho world, this tough world that tells you can't be injured, you can't, you know, you can't be weak, you've got to show, you know, strength all the time. And the reality is you're not strong all the time. You're not physically strong all the time. I'm a midget, do you know what I mean? But I knew what I was good at, you know. So if you know what you're good at, it's amazing sort of what you can do and how you can affect it.
It's starting to look more and more like different strokes in here, isn't it?
Quote of ever, I'm a midget.
I'm a midget.
Jason Robinson.
I'm a midget.
No, me and Rob Burrows, and we know, you know, rugby's for a game of all sizes, isn't it?
We've got so much more to come. We'll have to go to the break right now, and you could win today with Rugby, and it's an amazing competition. Flights, transfers, accommodation, and £500 spending money. Log on to rugbyam.co.uk, and you could be heading to Barcelona. Check this video out. We'll see you after the break for more Rugby right here on Free Sports.